The theme of my performance today is Wrinkles Deep in Time. I really hope I don't look it, but believe it or not, I will turn 50 this November. And what will I do when I hit the big 50? When from hour to hour I write and write, and from hour to hour I rot and rot. Well, there isn't a better time than this to heed Jenny Joseph's warning that when I live to a ripe old age, the hour has come for weird, wacky, and wild things. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals and say we've no money for butter. And I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells and run my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain and pick the flowers in other people's gardens and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickle for a week, and hoard pens and pencils and be amassing things in boxes. But now, we must have clothes that keep us dry and pay our rent and not swear in the street, and set a good example for the children. We must have friends to dinner and read the papers. But maybe, just maybe I ought to practice a little now so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I am old and start to wear purple. Oh, how liberating it is to know that with old age I can afford to relax, loosen up a bit, have some fun, and do some crazy things. In any case, who bothered about an old woman? If I should match purple with red, who cares? Anything should now be possible in this cracked age. As Tony in Martin Trim's Play with Repeats tells Nick and Kate, the potential is infinite. Now listen, how old am I? 40? How did you know that? This is exactly right. I'm 39 and tomorrow I'll be 40. Crisis in other words. No, are you psychic? Congratulations. What? No, not congratulations. Okay. Not congratulations because. Alright? Because I will be 40 years old tomorrow, and over those 40 years, what have I accumulated? Money? Money, no. No, I'm not speaking in a material sense. Give up. Wisdom. Wisdom! Yes, we accumulate wisdom. But what use is it to us? Because the events when the wisdom would happen useful, they're over and gone. Well, then that's how it is. No, that's not how it is. Well, I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. That's all right. profession is not rational. No. Fine. I mean, how old are you? Why 28? And what's your profession? My profession? Yes. What do you do? Do I have a job? Yes. No. In other words, you missed the opportunity. The opportunity was there, but at the crucial moment, you said to yourself, this isn't me. What opportunity? To work, to get a job, because if that opportunity presented itself again, and what I'm suggesting to you is that can be possible, you wouldn't say, this isn't me. You seize it. You wouldn't be coming here, I happen to like coming here. Night after night, I like coming here. You like coming here. Don't deceive yourself. Don't deceive yourself. You and Katie here make an attractive couple, as I was saying. But why does an attractive couple come in here night after night to drink this stuff and sit in basically silence? Look, Kate, you have a lovely face, but you still failed. Why is that? I haven't failed. Of course you failed. Look. What is there in your eyes, Kate? Listen, I didn't want to say that, but it's there in your eyes. I mean, what does an actress do in the evenings? An actress works. She's known. I mean, Kate what? Kate who? If you weren't here, what difference would it make to anything? And naturally, you persuade yourself that there's an intention, that it's meant to be like this. It's meant to be. But what does meant to be mean? Meant to be doing the same thing for 18 years? Meant to be keeping Courtney's clothes dry while someone writes reports? No way. No way, Kate. Meant to be means nothing. What reports? Because listen, what are we? You and I. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Don't include me in this. We're human beings. Don't include me. We're human beings. And perhaps I'm repeating myself, but for human beings, everything should be possible. The language we speak tells us that. It tells us that the potential, by which I mean not only what we could be, but what we might have been, the potential is infinite. And so what's meant to happen, which is surely the realization of that potential, are you with me? What's meant to happen hasn't happened. And what's happened, what has happened to us, was not meant to happen. No. How can we believe that of ourselves? Because listen, I'm listening. Okay. Yes, I'm listening to you. Good. No, I'm interested. Well, it should be. I am. What are you suggesting? That's good. Because listen, I notice it over there, and every night I see you, the two of you, over here. Don't you understand? My heart bleeds. And if I happen to like it here, it bleeds for you. What do you mean, like it here? This is exactly what he said. So what are you be able to go back to the past and relive it with hindsight. But should I desire it? Should I be preoccupied with revisiting past events and replaying them better than the previous time, given that my days are now numbered? Perhaps Emmett K. Fisher has the answer in the affirmative. Yesterday, I had to make a long drive, alone in the car. It was 100 miles or so. I was tired before I started and filled with a bleak solitariness, so that by the time I passed through the first big town and got out into the vineyards again, I was, in spite of myself, thinking of my large bones, my grey hair, my occasional deep weariness at being 40 years old, and harassed as most 40-year-old women are by overwork, too many bills, outmoded clothes. I thought of ordering something extravagant for myself, like a new suit, black, or perhaps even dark red. Then I thought I'd gained some pounds lately, as always, when I am a little miserable. And I began to reproach myself. I was turning slothful. I was slumping. I was neglecting my fine femaleness in a martyr-like and indulgent mood of hyper-wifeiness, super-motherliness. I was fat. And I was tired and old. Just when had it happened? Just those few years ago, I was slender, eager, untwisted by fatigue. I had been a good woman too. I had never lusted for any man but the one I loved. That was why it was so strange the times that Armani came to the house with my rug. We were living in a beautiful shack, held together by laser paint. I was alone much of the time, but I was never ill at ease or wistful for company, being young, healthy, and well-loved. But we were very poor, and my mother said, "Jane, why don't you have Mr. Adamanian take a few of these old rugs of mine and make them into one of his nice hash rugs for your living room? It wouldn't cost much, and anything he can do for our family, he would love to do." Mother went ahead with a generous plan, and Mr. Adamanian did come to a little house near the college, bearing upon his own shoulders a fairly handsome hash rug made of scraps. He stood at the door, and he looked as it always looked to me over those 20 years. I felt warm and friendly toward him, the strange familiar from my earliest days. And as the two of us laid the good solid rug on the painted floor under my sparse furniture, I was pleased to be with him. We finished the moving, and the rug looked fine, very rich and thick. Then, I do not quite remember, but I think it started by his saying, "You are married now." He looked very happy. He looked like a woman at last. And had grown a little here, not yet enough here. It began very delicately, but very surely, to touch me. It was a wonderful feeling. It was as if he were a sculptor. He had the most fastidiously intelligent hands I've ever met with, and he used them with the instinct of an artist, moving over something he understood creatively, something alive, deathless, pulsating with beauty but beyond desire. I stood, silent and entranced, while Mr. Ardemanian seemed to mold my outlines into classical loveliness. Then I heard my husband come up the path. The old man's hands dropped away. I went to the door, unruffled, and I introduced the two men. Then Mr. Ardemanian went gracefully away. And the whole thing puzzled me in a very minor and peripheral way. There had been no faintest spark of lust between us, no fast urgent breath, no need. So I found myself thinking of all this yesterday, alone in the car. I felt bitter, seeing myself toward the end of the tiring trip as a thickening, exhausted lump, without desire or desirability. I thought fleetingly of the tall, slim, ragged woman who was stewing under those ancient hands. When I got to my mother's place, I needed quiet and a glass of sherry. Mind you, it was not euphoric that really puzzled and hurt me. It was something that I got that far along without realizing that I could indeed grow thicker and callous, and let myself eat and drink too much, and wear white gloves without holding them, and in general grow slovenly. Almost the first thing my mother said was that she was waiting for Mr. Ardemanian. Suddenly I was very upset, for of all things in the world, I did not want that old man, who had once found me worth touching, to see me tired, mopish, middle-aged. I felt cruelly cheated at this twist, and I cried out, "But he can't be alive still! Mother, he must be 100 years old!" She looked at me with some surprise at my loud protest and said, "Almost, but he is still a good, rough man." I was stunned. When he came, he did look somewhat older, or rather drier. He insisted on moving the furniture and carrying in the clean rolls of oriental carpet without any help. I stood about aimlessly, watching him and thinking about him and myself in a kind of misery. At the end, when he carried the dirty rugs out of his car, and I told my mother when he would come back, he looked at me and then stepped quite close. "Which one are you?" he asked. "I'm the oldest," I said, wondering what he would remember of me. And suddenly, I knew there was everything, not of me as a little growing child, but of me, his creation. His eyes blazed and fell in an indescribable pattern from my cheeks to my shoulders to my breasts to the hidden cape of my navel, and then up over the bones of my ribs and down again to the soft as it strengthened me that very minute when I was tired and 40 and thick, that once Mr. Adamanian had made me into a statue. Indeed, the potential for what is possible lies not in the past, but in the days ahead. I let the past go and tap it for strength and wisdom for my remaining years. And how shall I maximize the potential that lies beyond here and now? Let me learn from the man who made his 70th birthday and gave a dinner speech. I have achieved my 70 years in the usual way, by sticking strictly to a scheme of life that will kill anybody else. It sounds like an exaggeration, but that is really the common rule for attaining old age. When we examine the program of any of these garrulous old people, we always find that the habits which have preserved them would have decayed us. I will offer here as a sound maxim this: that we can't reach old age by another man's road. I've made it a rule never to smoke more than one cigarette at a time. I have no other restriction as regards smoking. I do not know just when I started to smoke. I only know that it was in my father's lifetime, and that I was discreet. He passed from this life early in 1847, when I was a shade past 11. Ever since then, I smoked publicly as an example to others, and not that I care for moderation myself. It has always been my rule never to smoke when asleep, and never to refrain when awake. It is a good rule, I mean for me, but some of you know quite well that it wouldn't answer for everybody that's trying to get to be 70. As for drinking, I've no rule about that. When the others drink, I let it hell. Otherwise, I remain dry by habit and preference. This dryness does not hurt me. Oh no. But it could easily hurt you. For you are different. You let it alone. I've never taken any exercise except sleeping and resting, and I never intend to take any. Exercise is loathsome. It cannot be any benefit when you're tired, and I was always tired. But let another person try my way and see whence it will come out. I desire now to repeat and emphasize this maxim: we can't reach old age by another man's road. My habits protect my life, but they will assassinate you. Mark Twain's way to old age in good health first hit the big 5-0 and impact the world with my purple and red.